Switchcraft is brought to you live 3 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and on Saturday at whatever time I can get to it, although that seems like a big lie since this episode's coming out on Wednesday. I guess this is a bonus episode for all of you awesome people that listen. Make sure that you tune in live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by the patrons that support my content. Head on over to patreon.com/runjumpstomp to support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Audible. Get a free book and directly support the show by checking out Audible. They have thousands of books from every genre. You're definitely going to find something that you like. Just head on over to runjumpstomp.com/audible.
Okie dokie.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm here with Mel Kirk from Zen Studios. They are the creators of Pinball FX3 as well as Infinite Mini Golf on the Nintendo Switch. The last time that we spoke, Mel, was on the release day of Pinball FX3. How have things been going since then?
It's been awesome. It's been extremely busy. This industry never sleeps anymore. They used to go through these periods where, well, let's just say you would release a game and then you're done. And you can kind of take a break and maybe figure out what your next project is. But nowadays we run games as services, and they never sleep. People always want something new, something else. So you're kind of always in this go mode, and that's how it's been since FX3 launched on Switch.
So, I know that you have been working on updating Pinball FX3. I think you had a June as your target date for hitting 60 FPS in handheld mode and 1080p in the dock mode. Is that still progressing as expected?
Actually, it's progressed better than expected. We are going to be releasing the patch, which will update the game. It'll be on May 3rd.
Wow.
So, huge update coming, yes, and it's deserved for the players, and I think everyone will be really happy about it. Usually we see longer lead times with getting things approved through Nintendo's lot check system, but we flew through this time, so we're getting it out much faster than we thought.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good news, and I think everyone's going to be really happy with it.
Very cool. So other than just the graphical update, is that it? It's just the graphical updates, or is there anything else that you wanted to talk about for Pinball FX3?
Yeah, well, the graphics are a big deal. Obviously, in handheld mode, getting the silky smooth 60 FPS is what everybody wanted. But there are a whole bunch of other fixes coming and updates and whatnot. Everything from like a random button in the dashboard. If you've got, I think we've got close to 70. On Switch? We got 50 tables or something. Maybe you don't know what to play. You're overwhelmed when you go in. I don't know what I want to do. You just hit a button now, and it'll just randomly generate a game for you. And it's not just a classic 3-ball game. It'll look at your progress on a table, maybe on a challenge, and dump you into something that you haven't done yet or that you need to progress on. So it's kind of just a quick play, just get in and get some pinball going real quick. I'm really happy with that. That's something that I know players have wanted for a long time. We've got some leaderboard fixes. We've got some friends leaderboard issues getting resolved. Some people couldn't see friends on various platforms and whatnot because we have the whole cross-play thing going on, so those have been fixed. And then a bunch of other just small bugs and nuances of just things that were kind of annoying and just weren't working right. So if you go to our blog over on the Zen Studios site, you can click on that. You can see the list. There's probably 35 items on there, all different size and magnitude. But I'm just happy that the team is continuing to address problems and concerns, and we're listening to the feedback from the community and just getting all the things that you guys want in there, so the game is better and better, month by month.
Yeah, I know that when you were having trouble getting that, deciding if you were going to be able to do that 60 FPS update. I know that when you guys finally announced that you were absolutely going to do it, like, the community was really, really happy about that. So I think that was definitely a good move, and I think that people are going to be really excited when that comes out. Now, when we first started talking a moment ago, you said that you always are in go mode. You miss the days when you finish something and then you get to start something new. Is there anything new that you have been working on that you can talk about?
Yeah, Zen is more than a pinball game company. We have a nice team there that's been working on the game for a long time, but we've matured and grown other teams out of pinball, and those guys have been working on other games and other projects. One game in particular that we're announcing is Disco Dodgeball Remix, and this is actually a game that was released on PC by 82 Apps and a one-man team. His name is Eric Armisen. Sorry. He created this game all by himself, and and when it came out, I was in love with it from day one. I sat there and played for hours, and it's first-person disco dodgeball roller robots throwing balls at each other, and it's high-energy EDM music. It's a neon-drenched atmosphere. It's just super fun, kind of crazy and chaotic. And it really struck my heart because, we've built our company on physics-based gameplay and games with balls bouncing around everywhere. And I was like, man, this is totally in our wheelhouse. This is something that I love anyway. And we've been talking for quite a while. And we worked with him to port the game to consoles. And it's going to be hitting Switch on May 22nd. And I'm really excited because he's done, Eric did real well on Steam and he's got a lot of players there, but so many more people need to play this game. So I'm excited that Zen Studios gets to help make that happen.
Oh, I totally agree. I actually have a copy of this game, and my son loves Disco Dodgeball. The one thing that I really like about it is how and you're not kidding about the neon drenched. When you were playing that game, the neon colors kind of pulse to the beat of the music when you're playing. At least that's the way it felt when I was playing. And I just absolutely loved that feeling. I was really, really bad at the game, so hopefully being on a controller will be a little bit easier, and hopefully bringing it to consoles will make it a little easier to find a game. That's one thing that I noticed on the Steam is, you're right, he's got a great game there, but there's not a lot of people playing it, so finding a game sometimes was difficult. So bringing it to console where there's, I think, more people, I think that's definitely something that will help. So how long have you guys been working with them?
So we've been, the thing to remember is it's just Eric. He's just a one-man show, which is impressive. So when you do see this game and you watch the trailer, you look at the video, and if you play it, just keep in mind that one guy made this. It's really amazing. We've been working with him, I'd say like a year. It's been a year-long process to get this whole thing ready to go. And it's been a pleasure working with him. We added new features to the game, some new levels, new modes. We worked a lot on the optimization, especially like for Switch, we're 60 frames per second in the handheld mode, which is really cool. So like it plays at high level and plays it, and it's just beautiful on the screen, especially on the go. So we took our time, and the button configurations and all the things that we had to do to bring it from PC to make it ready for console. It took a fair amount of time, but man, I think it's worth it, and I think we got something really fun here for people to enjoy.
Awesome. Let me ask you, okay, so you mentioned 60 frames per second in handheld mode. Is it going to be 1080p in docked? It
is, yes.
Awesome. And if I don't ask this question, people are going to be very angry at me because I talk about this a lot. The game is a first-person style game, and a thing that a lot of people really like on Nintendo Switch is gyroscopic aiming. Is that going to be a thing for Disco Dodgeball?
I believe it is. I actually need to check on that on the final feature set, but I believe we are. I know with the thumbsticks. Last time I played on the Twitch control side, we were working on that, but I believe I made it in. I can actually ping while we're doing this if that's not too awkward for me to.
I can edit that out, or what? Okay. Sometimes leaving the awkward in just makes things a little more authentic. Anyway.
Yeah, we're real here.
That's right. Good. We're very real.
My role in the company is, of course, I don't know the details sometimes, and that's just the way it is. But. Right.
And for those of you that don't know, Mel is basically like the head honcho over there, one of the founders, right?
I'm not a founder, but I am a pretty high up. I'm basically second in command here at Zen, and I've been with Zen for, in some capacities now for over a decade, and then basically came on full time over 7 years ago. And back in those days, the early days of Pinball FX and early days of the company. So watched a lot happen and watched where we were going and what we're doing. And it's really cool to see how we've developed and how we've come a long way together.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I'll find out. I can confirm here in a second if we aren't using the gyroscope.
All right, that's fine. So, let's talk a little bit more about Disco Dodgeball. Are you is it going to add more like skins and stuff like that? Is it going to be another free-to-play game like you have, and then you pay for different skins or something, or is it going to be a different model or a different monetization model than you did with Pinball FX3?
No, it's not a free download. We thought about doing that, but we're just going to sell the game as a premium package. It comes with a certain number of skins, and then there are some add-ons that you can buy. And there's different things that we're doing with those. But we did create 70 new items, which are going to be available in the game when you purchase it. And some of these are crazy. There's fireman's hats and big, huge buckhorns. And my favorite is actually this little light bulb that you go around, because when the neon lights are flashing, the light bulb pulses with it. And so it just gives a really cool effect. But there's all sorts of things. We're going to see a lot of people with a lot of different kind of styles and customizations. And, it's going to be hard for somebody to come with the same thing twice. So I'm pretty sure you're all going to have your unique robot.
And and it's not like these items, they're all cosmetic, right? They don't actually affect the gameplay, correct?
Right. Correct. They're cosmetics.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to say, the other, cool thing on that is with HD Rumble, something I feel like we learned a lot during Pinball FX, implementing that on the pinball side of things. The HD Rumble for Disco Dodgeball Remix feels really good. And it, when you get hit with the dodgeball or you hit somebody, you feel it, and it's a really nice effect.
That's awesome. That's something about the Nintendo Switch that I never really cared about until I actually played a game that did a great job with it, and I was like, wow, HD Rumble is fantastic, and I want every game to do this. So that was one of my next questions that I was going to ask is, are you guys supporting HD Rumble? And I love that the answer is yes. That's great. The way that people get these items in game, is it going to be like an in-game currency, or people going to be 99 cents for the fireman's hat and that kind of thing?
Well, we're selling them in packs. You get, I think there's one DLC pack, and you're going to get all the additional add-ons. And I think we kept it pretty cheap. It might be $1.99 or $2.99.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so we wanted to price them low. We didn't include them in the base game because they were actually a fair amount of work, and we needed to make them a paid item. But we think it's a really good value, and then along the way, you're going to unlock other customizables, and you're going to unlock other rewards as you play and as you progress in the game.
Very cool. Very cool. So is the game going to have any kind of Amiibo support?
No Amiibo support at this time.
Okay.
But you never know.
Yeah, it's always something that could be added later. What about video recording? That Pinball FX, not Pinball FX, although that's a great game, but Disco Dodgeball, that seems like a game where when that moment happens where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I caught this ball and turned around and got the other guy with it, that let me record that. Is it going to have video recording at launch?
That's another good question. I don't know. I don't know if we're including video recording, but that's something that makes a lot of sense. And if we're not, then we will. And maybe not launch. That might be something that has to get patched in. But I just actually made a note here about that because it makes a lot of sense. I look at what you can do with Rocket League and in these games, and that's what drives so many people to want to play it. They see these awesome moments, and it it's so fun to watch, and then people want to participate. So that's something we definitely need to be looking at.
Yeah, and whenever I post something on Twitter that I like, a cool moment that I recorded on my Switch, and the developer didn't include the hashtag for their game automatically, that drives me bananas. So make sure that when you guys do the export for that it has Disco Dodgeball in there automatically, so that people can look for Disco Dodgeball and find awesome videos for that. Just a little helpful hint from the end user perspective.
Makes a lot of sense. I appreciate those tips. The thing about making video games these days, we used to just have to make a game, right? Like make a good game, and then that was it. Nowadays, like there's so much more that you just don't just make a good game. You got to make the awesome metagame and the shareables and the marketing driven straight from the game and all these little things. It's easy to forget some details. So I appreciate the heads up here.
No problem. So I think that you've answered all of my questions, except for the ones that you're waiting for answers yourself. Is there anything else that you want to tell the audience about? I
don't know. I'll just say that it's cool. Zen, I don't think we ever saw ourselves as a company that would be publishing other developers' games, but it's kind of happened really organically and really naturally. And I feel like it's really fun to be able to, take a game that was made by one guy, give him, just take the workload on, dedicate a team from Zen to port it. And now we're going to publish it. It's a cool story. It's something that feels good to me and for the company to be doing. So, if there's any developers out there listening and you've got your game on Steam and it's hard to get, visibility and it's hard for people to discover it, think about bringing it to another audience because, it's a way to extend the life of the game and to make sure more people enjoy it because there's so much work goes into these. It's a cool thing that Zen's doing, and we're available to do that in the future.
Yeah, Steam's awesome, but at the same time, if you're a small developer, you kind of have to deal with this needle in the haystack kind of syndrome over there. And then you bring something to the Nintendo Switch, while the eShop has definitely been exploding. It's certainly not the same as Steam, where it's just almost impossible to find something unless you know exactly what you're looking for. And you mentioned Steam. It reminded me of another question. Is this going to be cross-platform play with the people who are on Steam and the people who are on Nintendo Switch?
We're not cross-platform play right now. That is something that we're working on. Obviously, we figured that out with FX3. But it is something that we would like to add at some point. All the work that we did for the port and the additions and the upgrades and all that stuff, those are actually going to be released into the PC game as well. So if you play on PC and you've never checked out the game, this will be a good time. Once Eric updates, we'll get basically an even playing field with all the game content and with all the additions and whatnot. So that's got to be done, and then we can take a look at cross-platform play.
How about couch play? Is there split screen?
Yeah, there is. We are supporting 2 Joy-Con play in split screen mode. Did I say that too fast? Split screen mode. And that'll definitely be available, and that's a lot of fun as well. And the whole multiplayer aspect, 8-player multiplayer going on. It's chaotic. It's fun. It feels some of the levels are bigger than others, but like you get into some of the smaller arenas, and it's just like super dodgeball chaos, and it feels like the old schoolyard games or when you used to play in your gym or something. And it gives me good memories of like throwing dodgeballs as hard as I could at my friends. But it's fast. It's boom, 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 and you get nailed or you hit somebody and you do a cool trick shot while you're doing that. It's so fun. So multiplayer is definitely where this is at.
And you said 2 Joy-Cons. Do you mean that each player is using 1 Joy-Con?
Correct.
Wow, I can't even imagine how you would play like that. Because you got to be able to... Yeah, how do you do that? Because you got to have one joystick for movement and the other for looking.
Well, support... Let's see. I can get you the details on that one as well.
Okay. All right. No problem. And I could be wrong. It's been a couple of years since I played Disco Dodgeball, but I'm happy to hear that you guys are bringing Disco Dodgeball to the Switch. I think it's definitely a good platform for it. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to everyone who checks out Zen's games. On FX3, we're happy to... Obviously, we're supporting it for the long haul. We're going to have more content released this year, more tables coming, more features coming. And just real happy that we could get you guys 60 frames per second on the go and full HD and dock. And, thanks for bearing with us on that.
Yeah, and any word on Star Wars tables?
Nothing to say at this point.
Fair enough.
Yep.
If I didn't ask, people would be mad at me. So I got to ask.
You know, we got Bethesda there. So
I saw that.
You know, we were able to get that one done. I'm confident. You know, we want all of our tables available everywhere. So that's always the goal.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Mel. Where can people find stuff all about your games?
Go to zenstudios.com. We've got our blog there. You can subscribe to our newsletter if you like. And then, you know, we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And we're always on our forums. We're always trying to answer every question that comes in the door. So we love to talk with everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Mel. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.